Welcome to today's podcast, One-on-One with Walt Lascos. I'm Walt, and today's message is about the news media and ways to get noticed. Okay, when it comes to attracting news coverage, I'm not suggesting a person needs to commit a dastardly crime or pursue an opportunity proving to be a hero. This is about telling your story and getting the news media to notice you and your story. And to help us consider this whole procedure, I'm turning to an old college friend, Mark Grimm, in upstate New York. Mark is a professional speaker and speaking coach. He's a media expert, having worked as a TV news reporter, and he's also an elected county legislator. Mark, it's great to have you with us today.
It's great to be with you, Walt. I enjoy.
So, Mark, what's your guidance on ways to get noticed by the news media?
I think the first thing is understanding, we're all in business. We're about building relationships, but we don't necessarily think of that so in the media. The media are just like anybody else. They're trying to get through the day the best they can, and it's your job to help. The thing that the media needs most, they have to feed the beast every day, no matter how good their Tuesday went. Tuesday morning, they have to start all over again, finding stories that people are going to read or listen to or view. And that's an unending task. And your job is to help them. How can you do that? When you approach them, it's, gee, will you help us out with some publicity? That's not going to work. It's, I've been following you. I noticed you're interested in this type of story. I think I have a story here that really is going to attract people that you want to attract. And I'm pretty organized. Here's where, in a clear way, boom, 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 this is why I'm going to help them. And that's what they want to hear. They don't want to hear people begging for publicity. They want to hear people that are going to help them. And if you don't have a clear idea, you're going to help them, then you probably won't.
And Mark, when it comes to your story, is there certain kind of parameters that we should be using to base a decision to pursue that story with the news media or not? For example, some credit unions might be focused on, well, we're giving a check for $150 to the United Way, as opposed to maybe they have a story of how they helped save a senior from losing, $20,000 in a financial scam. What's your advice about that?
Yeah, that's a great point. What makes you interesting? And being interesting is a skill, and you have to really work at it. And very few people are really good at it. But you really have to have proof that what you're doing matters. So what I like to present is data. Here's the problem or solution that your people are interested in. And here's the data that says we've made a difference. And then you put a face on that. It's one thing to say we helped X amount of people, but here's an example, a human face, a real life characterization of what really happened. So you have the rational data, then the emotional data, and that's what you want to, reason and emotion. If you combine them in a clear, compelling way, you're going to get more coverage because you're more interesting. So often people make claims, and I go claim schmames. If you don't have the evidence to back it up, then you're just out there with everybody else making claims. So do the work for them because, they may have stories on their plate that day and they don't have time to do all the research. Do it for them, but make sure it's compelling research that's accurate.
And you know what I hear you say too, Mark, which I think bears a lot of attention, is storytelling, of having a story to tell, because that, in addition to the data and the facts, is like very compelling. Correct?
First of all, what is your story? I do public speaking coaching. People, when they say, I got to have a presentation a week from Friday, what am I going to say? What am I going to wear? Wrong questions. Who is your audience and how can you help them? The questions you have to ask. And in order to ask those questions, you really have to have a good idea of what they're interested in. But you also have to have your story down. When you're making an outline for a speech or approaching a reporter, your story is one paragraph. And it's clear, it's compelling. This is why you're going to choose to do a story on me today, because this is what we have that matters. And if you can't make that clear, then the reporters, they've got to deal with the other 10 calls they're getting that day.
Right. And Mark, how can listeners connect with you if they want to get more information or maybe tap some of the services that you provide?
Well, the best way to connect with me is to go to my website, which is S1E5. That's S1E5. And then you can go to my website, and you can Oh, sure. It's Mark Grimm Communications is my company. I started over 20 years ago, and you can find information on my bio at markgrimm.com. I've also written a book, Everyone Can Be a Dynamic Speaker. Yes, I mean you. That's a little tongue-in-cheek because most people think that good speaking is for someone else. But the reality is you don't have to run the 9.8 or be 6'6" and 240 pounds to be a great speaker. You just have to focus on the story and helping people and getting good coaching to help make that happen. So, and I also do a little political consulting too. I'm an elected official here because I think the only way to make things better is actually to work to do it. But markgrimm.com is my website, Walt.
Beautiful. Mark, again, thank you so much for spending some time with us today to go through a lot of your insights on this topic. And we really do appreciate you being with us.
I appreciate all the work that you've done, Walt. You're a class professional. It's great reconnecting with you.
Likewise. And to all our listeners, thank you for being with us. Stay safe.